Welcome to the KYA2 2019 podcast. I'm Caleb Sargent, and today I'm here with
Toby Yannis, Butler County High School.
And so today I was wanting to talk about your pro bills that you have as a lobbyist and how they're going. And what they're about.
My pro bill, it didn't make it to the Capitol. We didn't get to present it right now, but we're gonna try and get it through at the hotel tonight, this afternoon. So I'm hoping that goes well. We'll see. It's about the pink tax, and we've had a lot of support for it. I got a lot of people in my coalition, and it's going pretty well.
So I'm actually not informed about the pink tax, so can you explain to me what the pink tax is?
The pink tax is a tax on menstrual products like tampons and pads, and while they are taxed, condoms and Viagra are not taxed, and that's not really right if you think about it, because if female products are taxed and men's aren't, then that's just not right. Mm-hmm. And even if you're not a female, it still affects you, because one day you may have a wife or a daughter, and you'll end up paying these taxes in the long run.
I understand. And can you tell me how this will affect people here in Kentucky?
I think it costs an average of I think $1,000 to $1,600 per for a female, and it would help a lot, because some people don't even have the money to pay for that, and they're making makeshift items in place of that, and it's very dangerous. It can cause infections, and it's just not good. And
so, do you think that we should take away the pink tax, or do you think we should add a tax to condoms and Viagra and male, as sort?
I think we should take away the pink tax because it's pretty much a necessity for all women, mm-hmm. and necessities aren't taxed, food is not taxed, and some medications are not taxed.
So you feel like it would be a better idea to just take away the tax in total, instead of adding a tax to condoms and Viagra, therefore it is fair, and then also bring in that tax economy into Kentucky?
Well, what you could do in place of the taxes on the menstrual products is add a soda tax, which would promote better health for Kentuckians, because then they would probably drink less soda.
That is a great point, because a lot of people's calories that are wasted come from drinking pop, and so if you just everybody drink water because soda had a tax on it, then that'd be amazing for the health of all of Kentucky. And so, how much do you like? Is that your main pro bill?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my pro bill, and I just I don't. As a male, I don't feel very passionate about the cause, but I understand that in the long run it will affect me, and it affects women every day. Mm-hmm. So I understand it.
That is a great pro bill to have. I also want to talk to you about how you feel KY is changing, with the silent disco and things like that, and how seniors are going to leave the Capitol early, things like that.
Well, I feel like the silent disco will be a lot safer, because my first year here at KYA, we flipped the speakers over, and yeah, it didn't go so well.
I understand. I've definitely had many occurrences of seeing people fall over and fall down and get hurt,
people were getting thrown up in the air, and it was wild.
Yep, it was wild. And so you think the silent disco will be a good addition to KYA dance?
It'll be a whole lot safer, not as crazy, and it'll be more organized, I'd say.
Awesome. And how do you have an input on how you feel about seniors leaving the Capitol early to create space on buses and stuff like that for?
I really haven't heard much about it from my delegation. They haven't really said anything about it, but I don't know. I mean, I don't really have much of an opinion on it since I'm not a senior yet.
I got you. All right, well, it was great talking to you today. I'm glad that we got to have this conversation. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you.
KYA2 2019 podcast would not be possible without our sponsors.
Go for it. A non-debatable sponsored by the Kentucky YMCA. Sign up today online on their Kentucky YMCA website and meet your family this winter on the weekend of the MLK Junior holiday.
Welcome to the KYA2 2019 podcast. I am Caleb Sargent representing Media Corps, and this is...
I'm Matthew Johnson. I am the Cabinet Secretary for Public Protection, and the Cabinet of Public Protection is related to a lot of different types of legislation, but for the purposes of this KYA, it's mainly legislation relating to election and then certain public safety.
Awesome. And today I was wanting to talk to you about any bills that you're interested in or like oppose or have pros about.
Yeah, so I specifically want to talk about Commonwealth Bill 21 from LaRue County High School, which is an act to require early voting. So I'm in support, the cabinet is in support of this bill because it, in my opinion, would increase voter turnout. It has it to where between 22 and 2 days before the gubernatorial election or any sort of election, the clerk county's office can become almost a polling center where people could stop by in and cast their ballot for the election. And I just think that's a really cool and interesting way that they could also be involved, because with absentee voting, you have to have an excuse, and some people might not have an excuse until the day of, and when they don't realize it, they can't vote. So this way they would be able to vote beforehand and cast their ballot.
That's awesome. And I was wondering, like, how would you plan on implementing it?
Implementation wouldn't be extremely hard. It's almost like the clerk county's office would become like a sort of mobile polling center just 2 weeks before the exam. It wouldn't cost that much more money since we're just sending out some ballots a little bit early.
That's awesome. That sounds like a great idea to me. I mean, I definitely agree with it. I mean, it's awesome. Also, I was wanting to talk to you about today the changes that are happening in KYA. So how do you feel about the silent disco that we're gonna have tonight?
I mean, I haven't experienced that yet, but it sounds like a neat idea. It's obviously, a lot of people think of KYA and a big thing they think of is the crazy dance at the end, and that's not really what KYA is about. So it's interesting to see how the silent disco will be.
Yeah, which I agree. I mean, it's not about the crazy dance. It's about students coming in and voicing their opinion on topics and different things. So I agree, 100%.
For sure.
And how do you feel about not having the education fair this year with the bill authors?
I very much miss the education fair. In the lobbyist program, a huge thing lobbyists do the first night is go around and ask people to sign their coalition sheets. And a way they would get a ton of signatures in the past was through the education fair, because everyone is in one ballroom and they can just go back and forth. They can easily read people's name tags and see what chambers they're going to be in for the committee meetings, and I think that was a great way for them to talk and explain the coalition. But with the new way they're doing the education fair, and now it's in committees, it's a lot harder for lobbyists, because lobbyists can have up to 6 bills that can be in up to 6 different committees, so they have to run back and forth just to talk on one bill during the education fair.
I definitely agree with that. And also for Media Corps, it makes it, if you're wanting to take pictures, for the photography part of it, it's hard to, go into all those different rooms, like you said, for lobbyists, and, to get all those pictures with the people with their signs, so it'd be nice to have them all in one spot. And also, I feel like Media Corps is definitely a way for people who are going to be in that committee to get educated on, and everybody to get educated. So even if you're not in the committee and you're just interested, you can get educated on the topic because of the education fair.
Yeah, that's a big thing I agree with, because the bill sponsors put so much work into the bill, and then the actual poster board, and then I want to be able to see the bills from my school, but if I wasn't in that committee, I wouldn't have a particularly good chance of being able to just look at a bill I was interested in.
Yep. And I agree, because also it is for the people that are in your committee, but then also if it comes down to it, whenever you get to the final, if you make it all the way through, then it's presented in front of everybody. So, I mean, it would be nice for everybody to be educated on your bill, since you worked, since those people worked so hard on it and, took so much time out of their day to do it. So, I'm glad I got the chance to speak to you. Had a great conversation, and thank you for being on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, you too. Thanks.
KYA2 2019 is made possible by our sponsors.
Now's your finest opportunity to head over to Medium.com. Look up KYYMCA Media Corps, and you can read all of the articles that are posted by Media Corps newspaper.
Welcome to the KYA2 2019 podcast. I am Caleb Sargent representing Media Corps, and this is...
I'm Ella Lester, and I'm a candidate for Bluegrass Presiding Officer.
And today I just want to talk to you about like bills that you're interested in. So could you tell me about any that you're proing for?
So one of the bills I'm interested in is Bluegrass 17, and it's an act relating to mandatory self-defense classes for high school students. And I think this is a great bill because sadly in today's world, sexual assault and physical abuse are common. When this happens, teens are left helpless and don't know how to defend themselves. And I think if we had mandatory self-defense classes, then students would be safer and this wouldn't be as big of a problem.
I totally agree. I mean, like, you know, whenever you get into high school, that's about the prime time that you get like more responsibility as a student and as a kid. And so then like your parents might let you walk home or something like that. And so then it's a lot better to be more prepared than it is to not, know what to do in that situation. So that's definitely a good bill. Do you know how they're going to implement it? Or how they're planning on implementing the bill?
It will be taught by PE teachers in their class.
And they'll basically just teach them like self-defense and things like that. And it's kind of like just telling the people to just shine more light on the actual self-defense part.
And it's not like a very high cost, so it's a low cost for something that would definitely pay off. It makes saving
I agree.
lives.
Awesome. That's definitely an awesome bill. I definitely see exactly why they would want to implement something like that. Is there any other bills that you would like to talk about?
Yes, Bluegrass 25, and it is an act relating to the restoration of voting rights for Class D felons. And I think as an American citizen, everybody has the right to vote. And I think that Class D felons should be able to vote even after they've been arrested and out of jail, because Class D isn't a violent crime. It could be like drug trafficking, but it's nothing dangerous. So I think that everybody should have a second chance, and they should have their right to vote because they are citizens of the United States.
Which I agree, but I agree that they are citizens, and that, but I don't know. Even though it is a non-violent, act that they committed, like crime that they committed, it's still a crime that they committed, and whenever you go to jail, you know that you get your rights stripped away as a citizen. So I feel like offering that to them, would be like, kind of giving them like leeway whenever they don't deserve it because they did commit a crime.
I think that if they knew they had importance in our government and that they had a say, then that would keep them out of trouble, and that'd be something that they wouldn't want to mess up again because they'd want their right to vote. That encouraged them to stay on a good path after jail.
Which I understand that, yeah. I can see that. Which, I mean, that might do, but then also, you just have some of those people that, like, I wouldn't want to say are unfixable, but, like, some of them that do it and have always done it and grew up that way, and so then, they just kind of stay doing it even after you give them, leeway and things like that.
There's some people that just don't care, but for the ones that are just passionate and want to change for the better, I think this is a great bill.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice bill. I mean, I could understand why somebody would want to promote that. I personally don't like as much as I do others, but that's definitely still it's a good idea. It's a good bill. Also, I was wanting to talk to you today about the silent disco, the dance that is now no longer a dance, and it's now silent disco with the headphones.
Well, I haven't experienced it yet, but I know the middle school dances were always very fun, and it was dark, and everybody was jumping up and down and yelling the lyrics, but now that it's silent, I don't know if the vibe will be as fun which everybody's listening to the same music. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see tonight. But
Yep. And also, have you heard anything about the hot chocolate bill?
I have heard about that.
What do you think about the hot chocolate bill?
I don't really understand why hot chocolate, because I don't feel like Kentucky's a super cold state compared to others like Colorado, Dakota, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, but I feel like something like bourbon would be more well suited since it's, made in Kentucky, like something like that. And
Which I 100% agree with you on that because, of course, hot chocolate is one of my favorite drinks.
yeah.
It is definitely good, but whenever it comes to a state drink, I definitely think it should be bourbon or something like that, something that we're well known for. Like Kentucky's known for horse racing, bourbon, and basketball.
He even
So
said something like the mint julep that was famous to Kentucky Derby, something like that. Just it had like more of Kentucky's heritage, because hot chocolate I just thought was a little random.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And also, I wanted to ask you about how do you feel about them changing the education fair and how they didn't have it this year?
I think you're not as educated on the bills going into everything, but I liked how the first night the bill authors went and introduced themselves to everyone, and you kind of got to know them there, which some people I know didn't participate in it. They just kind of walk around. But I personally did like the education fair.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because not only was it an easy way to meet new faces and see new people that we haven't interacted with before. Then also I know for Media Corps it was a prime spot to get people with their poster boards and for lobbyists to do their lobbying and meet their to meet the people that they're saying pros for, and then also for just a bunch of different groups of people to get actual information about bills.
Especially for first-time people at KYA that they don't really know how to debate or anything, so I think that would give them insight and just get pre-educated on those bills.
I agree. All right, well, thank you for coming in and talking to me today.
Of course, yeah.
KYA2 2019 podcast would not be possible without our sponsors.
LTC, Leadership Training Conference, sponsored by the Kentucky YMCA. Sign up now and you can go later this summer to meet with friends for a few days and learn to get closer to each other and expand your leadership skills with your family. Sign up now at the Kentucky YMCA website.
Welcome to the KYA2 2019 podcast. I'm Caleb Sargent, representing Media Corps, and this is
Grant Mannion, and I'm a candidate for presiding officer.
awesome. I was wanting to talk to you today about the bills that you've been promoting. Is there any specific one you want to talk about?
Well, Commonwealth Bill number 37. It's about funding canine units and drug programs.
It's awesome. Do you know the actual title of the bill?
It's
okay.
an act to fund canine units and drug programs.
Okay, and what is that planning on fixing?
So pretty much it's taking money out of Kentucky's budget, so it's not taking any more taxes out of the taxpayer's pocket, and it's using it to fund these programs to prevent, future drug problems in youth. It's mainly these drug programs are in high schools, so they're putting this money for that, and canine units to search drugs, and they're the dogs that search for bombs like that. So
Things like that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the bill or
Well, I like it because one of my platforms is to increase the awareness of the harmful effects of dangerous drugs. So having money go into drug programs is big for me because, I'm a big advocate for making people aware of the bad things that drugs can do to you.
Yeah, and I completely understand. I've seen a lot of even kids in my school that have done drugs that I don't think they knew the actual consequences of, and then go crazy in the middle of school. And it's you need to know what you're doing before you're going to do it, and the reason you shouldn't do it. And it's awesome that you want to upgrade security on that, and it's really awesome
Yeah.
bill that they have. Do you know any way that they plan on implementing it?
Well, they're just trying to get schools to say, yes, we want to put a program into our school to help prevent people getting addicted to drugs. And I don't really know any school that would say we want people to be addicted to drugs, so
Yep.
I'd say it would be a pretty easy thing.
Yeah, I mean,
to
it
have
sounds like
implemented.
it has easy implementation. I mean, it sounds like a great bill. Like, it's overall just it's awesome.
Yes,
I'm
I agree.
glad you brought that up today. Also, I was wanting to hear your opinion about like how KYA is changing over the years. Like how now we're having like the silent dance.
Okay, so the silent disco, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of the silent disco idea. You know, the mosh pit, it was a staple of KYA. You know, when you thought of KYA, you were like, yes, second night, the mosh pit, the big dance, that's what everybody came for. You know, KYA, it is about learning government things and, you know, getting to know these people, but, you know, that's KYA is the mosh pit, and I think it's a little sad that they got rid of it, but I mean, I kind of understand, you know, it could be safety hazard, and I'm sure it was pretty loud for the other people who were staying in the hotel and pretty annoying to them.
Which, I mean, obviously I understand your side of it. Like, you know, like KYEA is obviously more about, like, you know, students being able to voice their opinion and things like that, but then at the end of the day, like, you know, so the last fun, like, hoorah is nice to have the mosh pit, because the mosh pit was like where everybody went, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody knew about it, so that
Absolutely.
it was definitely a fun spot. I think it'll be a little bit different having silent disco this year instead of mosh pit.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely
Yeah.
have a little bit different of a vibe going
Vibe
on,
to it, yeah.
but, you know, I
Um,
think it'll still be fun.
Yeah, me too. And also, I was wondering how you feel about us not having an education fair this year to go look around at, like, have their bill authors set up on tables and not being able to look around at bills.
Yeah, so the education fair, I don't think it was just for, you know, looking further into bills. Like, that is its main purpose. But the education fair, I mean, it was a time for candidates to get a head start, get their names out there. It was for lobbyists to, you know, lobby,
Yep.
do their job. And of course, like I said, it was a time for delegates to get to know each bill
Yep.
a lot better.
And I feel the same way, because I feel like it was also a big part of Media Corps, you know, because Media Corps, you know, who doesn't want to take a picture with their poster, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
What bill author wouldn't want to take a picture with their poster and maybe get it up on the slideshow, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's also, like, a great way to get more information about a bill. Like, so that way, like, if your bill does get passed, you know, House and Senate, and we do present it in front of everybody, you know, more people know about it, and it's just not the people in your committee. So I think it's a much better idea to have the education fair instead of just having the bills presented in your committee. So, you
Yeah,
know.
I definitely agree. It was a little harder to write some pros and questions for bills, because I didn't know in depth about it until I heard them actually present the bill. So,
Yeah.
and also one more thing about the education fair is, you know, KYA, the people who don't go to Go For It or LTC or even Kuna, the ones who just go to KYA every year, you know, it was a time to see your friends that you haven't seen in forever and catch up with them.
Yep.
So I'm going to miss that the most, because I don't get to go to a lot of Y conferences, but yeah.
I agree. And it's a kind of just another staple like KYA that everybody feels like is going to miss. But is there any other bills or anything you want to?
You know, Commonwealth
Talk
Bill
about?
number 37, that's my bill. It
Yep.
fit right in with my platforms, and I just loved it. So
Awesome. Well, thank you for talking to me today.
there's no problem. Thank you for inviting me on here.
KYA2 2019 podcast is made possible by our sponsors.
Go-Go Squeeze, fruit on the go, apple strawberry flavored drinkable applesauce. The only drinkable applesauce, sponsored by the Kentucky YMCA Youth Association. unofficially, unpaid, please pay me. That's all.
Welcome to KYA2 2019 podcast. I'm Caleb Sargent with Media Corps, and this is...
Hi, I'm Joe Hedinger. I'm the governor of KYA.
It's awesome. Well, it's nice to be able to speak to you today. Today I was mainly just wondering, wanting a recap of your day and how it went.
My day was really fast. I think that's the best word I can use. There was a lot of downtime, but during all of that downtime where I wasn't really doing anything, I was constantly doing stuff. I would work the whole time. I did see every bill that passed through the House and Senate, and it was insane. A lot of really good bills. I always feel bad when I have to veto a bill, but I don't know. It was a really good year and a really good. I'm talking like I do this every year. No, this is the first year I've been governor, and it's amazing. I'm excited. Tomorrow is the last day, and that's when I have to give up my position. I'm excited to see who it is. I am.
Do you know the candidates that are running very well?
I do. I know all of them almost on a personal level. Ben, Grant, Jake, Darby, Amy. I know. I forget. I don't know who all was in the final six, but yeah, I know them all almost on a personal level. I'm not rooting for anyone in particular. All I can say is I want who's hungriest. I want who's hungriest to win. You know, I think I've told them all that. I said the first speech should be all about what you want for Kentucky. Second speech should be what you want for yourself. I'm really excited to see what they bring. I'm really hoping these speeches are good.
And I'm just wondering if you could, say something to them. Like if you could give them like that one line of inspiration, what do you think it would be?
Get hungry.
Get hungry.
Get hungry. The person who wants it the most will get it. It's all about how hard you're willing to try. Fortune favors the bold.
That's awesome. And I was wondering, was there any thing that happened in particular that you want to talk about today, that went on,
Yeah, since I won't be able to do it, I tried to have people petition to do the seceding from the Union bill. That was an awesome thing to see. I wanted it to do well, just so I could have it, see what I could do about it. I really appreciated how hard they all worked. They worked really hard on it, and I mean that's what I like. I like seeing people who work. Yep. I really liked all the hard work they did with it. So what we did was I had them because it got defeated. It got defeated. I don't know whether it was the House or the Senate. I know it passed in one of them, but not the other. I do not know whether. I told them. They said, "What could we do to have it debated in front of the General Assembly, like a veto override?" And I told them. I said, "Really, nothing. But if you want to try, you can go and get a lot of signatures, and I will try my hardest." And so they got all the signatures, and I went and I asked. I said, "What? Here's signatures for a petition to have it read." They understand that it can't be signed into law. This is just for debate purposes and fun. That's all we're going to try and do. And in the end, it wouldn't have been fair to those because what's stopping other people from getting vetoed to debate it up on stage, what makes theirs special. And, I didn't want to do that to any of the other people who got their bills vetoed or defeated. And then, plus, I don't think there's going to be time in the closing session for that.
Mm-hmm. And, I respect your opinion. I thought I love the way that they, hustled, the way that they tried to, they were still trying to get their bill, to be debated after it was already passed. After you get shut down, that you don't sit down.
Yeah.
You get shut down, you don't sit down. You always get back up.
Yeah,
you always keep trying. You always keep eating, always. So stay hungry, just like you said.
Yeah, stay hungry. I think that's awesome.
Yep. And
hustle bustle.
Yep. I even signed the petition myself because I thought, it was awesome.
I thought it was super cool. That would have been awesome to see.
Yeah. And how do you feel? I was just wondering, is there any other bills that you promoted or anything today that you felt like were, or you saw that you felt like stood out to you?
I didn't promote any bills that genuinely were passed in both Senate and House because I wanted the surprise to be there when we announced which bills passed at GA, the General Assembly after the mixer. So even in the meetings, I told them, I said, I can't tell you whether or not you passed. At the end in this meeting, you have to wait till GA. So I didn't really sway one side or the other during them. That's one thing I didn't really want to impose on.
Hi guys.
And even if you do get knocked down in debate, you can always just keep using your voice. There was a bill today that I vetoed and it should felons be able to vote again if it's nonviolent and they've shown good behavior, and I vetoed that because I don't believe they should. But even those felons, though they can't vote officially, they can still go out, make posters, protest, use their voice, because that's an inalienable right, is using your voice. No matter what, you can't get rid of that right, So I think no matter what, you can, use your voice and just be heard.
Yeah, so I mean, as long as you keep working hard, you'll normally you can get what you want to some extent as long as you just keep working.
Yeah, and that it reminds me of an awesome quote. I went to a show. There was in the auditorium at St. X, our friend Julian Colvin, he knew a Holocaust survivor, and she came in and she talked, and it was very inspirational. And she told me, she said, I've learned in my life, the best thing I've learned and the most key thing is that no matter how poor no matter how poor you are or where you are, no matter what's happening, what's going on anywhere, you can always make money using your hands. You can always work. You can always just do manual labor. You can always work. You can do something. You'll never be out of a job if you can use your hands.
Yeah, and that's an awesome quote that you have.
Yeah, especially coming from her, I thought it was awesome to hear.
It's awesome that you got that experience. So I know that, it was a, stressful, fast day.
Yeah.
And, everything went by apparently so fast, But as you, being a senior and being governor, and as this being your last KYA, do you have, anything that you want to say about, how your last KYA basically went?
Man, that's my one final ride, and it's the one that's gone the quickest. It's crazy, but being governor, it's just it's the payoff, man. I've worked. It's the work, and I'm finally paying off for it. It's the one thing I've wanted since 6th grade was to be governor of the high school conferences. I knew the middle school conferences. Yes, they're important, but they're not. They don't have the in-depth debate that the high school conferences have, and I always wanted to be the governor of high school KYA, and when I won last year, it was insane, and the workload that they put me under, it was a lot of work, but I'm so happy that I had an amazing team. I got to shout out my team. They were amazing, and of course that was just so much fun. Oh man, what was the question again? What am I going to take away from it?
Yeah, so what did you, what's the main thing that you're, this being your last KYA, what do you want to tell us about,
my last KYA?
What did you cherish?
This being my last KYA, and I'm able to admit anything from my past years of KYA, I'll do that. In 7th grade, me and my friend were rooming together here at the Crown Plaza, and we threw a donut at the ceiling, and there was icing on it for the entire conference, and we never told anybody.
That's
There was
awesome.
a lot of icing, and we never told anybody. There's a whole bunch of little KYA stories that we have. It was just threw a donut up there, and my friend looked at the ceiling when he laid down. He said, "Did you get donut on the ceiling?" And I was like, "Yeah, we did."
Yeah, and I mean, I've been going for just as long as you have pretty much. The only year I missed was 7th grade, and that's because I had the flu, so I had no choice. But I remember back, because we've been buddies.
Yeah,
for
we've
a
been
long
buddies
time.
for a really long time.
So I mean, I remember back whenever we were in 8th grade, and you were just
you big Durham.
Yeah, but then also you were even though you were the funny, nice, jokester guy, also you were always working, anything you did, you always wanted to be the best at it. I could tell as, even though it was that long ago, I could tell that, like, this guy's actually, like, going to be something in the future of KYA. So
Thank you, man. That
it's
means a
awesome.
lot.
It's awesome to see you, like, go through KYA and, like, flourish the way you did. And honestly, this being my last KYA, I mean, I've loved every minute of it. This KYA is probably the best KYA I've ever been to, being part of Media Corps.
Senior KYA.
Yeah. I mean, I just try to make the most of it. Something I've never done before. I've never sung in karaoke. But,
Really?
Got up there and sung Your Man. It was a fun time,
That's awesome. I
So,
love that song.
Yeah, but it was a great time. I'm glad that, we've gotten to go through this together and we got to experience together.
Yeah, man. I remember, what's it called? Speaking of the future, because, like, things we're going to take with us for the rest of our lives. People have asked me this whole conference, like, so, do you want to be a politician? Do you want to do all that? And I don't necessarily know if I want to be a politician, but one thing the Y has really opened my eyes and saying is I want to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's on the executive, military, or service routes, whichever one. I do want to, not saying I want to be in a position of power and authoritarian and all that, but I think I do have talent as a leader and to get things done, get an end goal done. I think I work well with a team. And I think that's one of my strengths.
Yep.
It's something I've really learned I have a talent for, I believe.
Yeah, and I mean, with me, not even like KYA, just taught me to be respectful, and just to always, and like how you look at it, always work hard. Like, whatever you do in life, whether it be politics or whether you want to be, just anything in life, if you want a blue collar job or anything, just as long as you work hard, you're more likely to get up to that, like, leadership standard, whatever that position is, whatever the best in that position is. Just keep hustling, keep working hard, and
man.
you're more likely to get up there.
All right, yeah. Hey, let me ask you a question. What's your favorite memory from KYA? Maybe it doesn't have to be debate, just something you did with your friends. Because about the donut thing, like that's the whole point of KYA for me is, I mean, a lot of it's the debate and the awesome, talking, but in the end, in its deepest roots, it's all about the people. It's all about the fun. It's all the people.
Mm-hmm.
Scanning. I remember last year, me and him just gooned around. It's all about just the people. What's one of your memories about that?
Yeah, but I mean, going through KYA for the past 6 years, I mean, it's all been amazing. Like, I've won, like the speaker awards and things like that, and so I mean, just like there's so many memories of like rooming with people that no longer go here anymore, and just like those young memories. Like, I remember in 8th grade, this is a good one. We mixed coffee, Pepsi, and Red Bull together, and we drank the whole entire thing. And we literally stayed up that whole entire night. Like, I didn't sleep at all. I just went straight through onto the next day.
Just wanted to see like how long you could go. I swear, I thought this morning I had like sleep deprivation. I was hallucinating because I was walking around because I haven't slept like in nights, and then I got here and all this work and all that, and I was walking around and like I thought I heard, "Hey Joe," and I was like, "Oh my goodness, hello." Like, I thought it was the people in the conjoining room next to me, and then my friend was like, "Dude, like that, they're not awake," and I was like, "What?" I freaked. I'm probably losing my mind.
That is a little. That's a little.
I'm probably losing my mind.
But no. Yeah. So also, I mean, other than that, like, is there anything,
I gotta thank my sister.
Anybody?
For the final shout outs of the podcast. Are we nearing the end?
We're close to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'd have to, what I would have to do is shout out my sister. I really would. My sister's the one who got me started in the Y. I owe it all to her. She's the one, she still volunteers with the Y. She did middle school GFI this year.
Mm-hmm.
GFI's Go For It. Go for it if you don't know what it is. But yeah, no, she got me into it, and I'm so thankful that she did that. She means so much to me, and she got me to do KYA. Now I just gotta force my brother to do it. He's never done it. I gotta force him to do it.
Yep. And also, just going through KYA, between me and Joe, even, you can tell, being a part of the Y family, you easily make, amazing friends
so
throughout.
many.
And so, you know,
Whether you never see him again, you'll have those memories, you know?
Yep. And I'm glad that we got to have this conversation.
Yeah,
So,
I'm really glad.
Thank you
that
for
I'm
being on the
kinda ending
podcast
the night
today.
on this, man. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm about to go have Pop-Tarts and Oreos, man.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the
Thank you, man.
podcast today.
Thank you.